So as usual, I've been checking out my sources, and I was looking at another trade proposal possibility, which is the Clippers and Warriors trade proposal. And I have to say, very interesting trade proposal because, the proposal is pretty direct. I mean, it's basically the Clippers let go of Paul George in exchange for the Warriors' now newly backup point guard, I guess, and Chris Paul. And really, when I think about the situation, like in its entirety, it's kind of one of those situations where you ask yourself why would they actually even consider something like this? Because I don't really think it's even considerable. First of all, I said before, leave Paul George where he is. Let this team run it back at least one more year, because there really isn't much out there to go after except maybe a guy or two here and there, a role player or two here and there. And on top of that, the team that you have pretty much is championship ready. It's championship bound. I mean, it really is. I mean, only thing the Clippers are missing is their health. I mean, they're not missing anything else. They have all the pieces they need. They got pieces coming off the bench. Their depth is widely huge. They got scorers coming off the bench. They got guys coming off the bench who can defend at a high level. And you got Kawhi and PG, two of the best two-way players in the game. Kawhi might be the best two-way player ever. I mean, in some people's eyes. He's definitely a top player as well. And then, you got Russell Westbrook, which is a wild card, which is the only wild card I can see with the team, because you don't know what you're getting out of Westbrook from night to night. You might get, 15, 16 points and, 8 assists and 2 turnovers. Or you might get 19 points and 9 assists and 7 turnovers. You just don't know what you're getting out of him. So that's why I say he's a wild card. But other than that, if they can keep him tamed on a leash somewhat, they'll be fine. And as I stated before, if they find a way to let him run with the second unit, if, Ty Lue is okay with that, then there should be no problems. Everything should just work out to its satisfaction for the Clippers, because honestly, as I said before, their team is good enough to win a championship. It just isn't healthy enough to win a championship, and that's pretty much the only issue, or should I say the issue that they continuously keep having. You see what I'm saying? So when you think about that as well, what else do they need to go after? I mean, like I said before, unless you're going after a major piece like a Damian Lillard, James Harden, which they're the talks are up and down with that as well. But if you're not going after a major piece, I don't know what the Clippers are wasting time on trying to get role players for. You got the best role players that you can have that fits your system, that will work well in your system. So no need to go after any other role players when you got decent ones and very good ones to very good ones anyway. So, I mean, it's a waste of time. And at this point, Chris Paul is a role player. Chris Paul, I don't even know why the Warriors even got Chris Paul, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't even know if Stephen Curry is even cool with that. That's always been a enemy of his, at least on the basketball court. Maybe definitely not outside of the basketball court, probably, but on the court, it's always been a nemesis of his. And I don't know how that really is going to gel, and I don't know how that's really going to work out. But I wouldn't trade Paul George for Chris Paul. I wouldn't trade Paul George for Chris Paul years ago if it was me. Simply because I've never been a Chris Paul fan, never will be, but I do respect his game, respect the fact that he has been a great player and still revered as a great player. But I mean, of course, with age, the things wear thin. But either way, never been a big fan of his. But I just don't think that, a reunion with the Clippers is going to make things better. I don't think that's going to make the Clippers a better team. I think they regress, of course, with a Chris Paul, because first of all, Chris Paul can't stay healthy himself, and he's a lot older age-wise. He's not the superstar he once was. He's just really a household name, and people give him superstar status because of who he has been throughout the years. But he's not that Chris Paul anymore. If he was, the Phoenix Suns would keep him. I mean, they would have a big 3, a big 4, a big 5, whatever they would have, what Bradley Beal added. But they couldn't keep him because they don't see nothing left in the tank. So if there's nothing left in his tank, why the hell would the Clippers even consider? Why even negotiate, or why even entertain the fact is what I'm getting at. Why even entertain it? And that's where I'm at with the Clippers. Don't entertain situations that does not that doesn't need to involve you, or that doesn't, fit your criteria or your situation. Chris Paul does not fit the situation. I mean, honestly, the only thing he could do for the Clippers really is come off the bench and give them a little bit of a spark, some good energy. And, of course, he can give them some good passing, stuff like that. And, be a positive guy in the locker room, things like that. But, Chris Paul definitely isn't the player that he once was. So what can he give the Clippers that they don't already have? Honestly, like I said, let Russell Westbrook run with the second unit off the bench and let him kind of control the offense a little bit, because he'll be able to freestyle a little bit more. He won't be under so much pressure to make all the right passes and all the right plays as the starting point guard. Let Terrence Mann run the starting point guard. I've been saying this. Terrence Mann fits with Kawhi and PG so well because he's been around them for several seasons. He's been around them for a few seasons. He knows their tendencies. He knows what they're like. He's hung with them outside of basketball, on the court, off the court. See, that chemistry goes a long way. And that's what I'm saying. They're good with what they already have. They don't need a Chris Paul. Chris Paul will be more of a distraction than an actual help. So with that being said, the Clippers just need to jump up off that train and don't even entertain that conversation with the Warriors. The Warriors just trying to get him off their hands and add a valuable piece to what they're trying to do. And if you give Paul George to the Warriors, they're probably going to win a championship. Honestly, if Paul George goes to the Warriors and the Clippers get Chris Paul, the Clippers not going to win no damn championship. You see what I'm talking about? So hopefully they're not stupid enough to make a dumb decision like this and ruin their chances and, be a bottom feeder, on the totem pole, basically, once again, rather than being where they are and just hope that they stay healthy enough to go and make a run for a championship. I don't really see, what the issue is. Leave Chris Paul alone, leave the Warriors alone, unless you got to deal with them and face them in the playoffs. Other than that, there doesn't need to be no Warriors, no anything. They don't need to shop they don't need to shop Paul George. Keep what you have, run it back another season, and see how the dice falls. But either way, leave your comments in the comment section and let me know what you think. And we'll talk about it.